we are gathered here advocating for Tibet and celebrating His Holiness's birthday. And I want to first thank Congressman McCall and Congressman Jim McGovern here for helping us host this event here. Today, I wanted to begin because just being here with all of you for these past 2 days and so many of the young lobbyist faces here, I'm reminded of how His Holiness shouldered the responsibility of his people and for Tibet at the age of 16, and at the age of 24, he lost his country and had to begin a life in exile.
At my age, 16, I lost my freedom. And inexperienced, unmodern educated, nothing. I carried the responsibility to look after Tibetan people. And Chinese invasion already started. Difficult period. Therefore, I say I lost my freedom. Then, my age 24, I lost my own country. Almost to every occasion when we receive some information from Tibet, always heartbreaking news. Of course, occasionally some sort of positive, that mainly positive Tibetan spirit, as I mentioned earlier, very strong, very, very sort of encouraging situation. Otherwise, very sad. In short, usually I describe Tibetan, one ancient nation with ancient cultural heritage now dying. So very much sort of what's the sad things.
As chairman of foreign affairs, I've met many leaders of countries, dignitaries. I would have to say that the meeting we had with the Dalai Lama in Dharamshala last year was one of the most profound experiences of my lifetime. His intelligence, his sense of humor after what his people and he have gone through. And I remember one other thing he said: I will not be reborn in China, I will be reborn in freedom. It's very profound. And I said, don't you harbor any ill will towards the Chinese people? He said, I cannot let negative emotions take over my soul. A true spiritual leader, I think about that meeting almost every day. He reminds us that the CCP can take away your land, but they cannot take away your culture or your spirit. Leading that delegation with Jim McGovern and Nicole Takis, who was here, was again so profound. And the relationships and the people of Tibet were so generous. The culture was so beautiful. And they fought up against this tyranny for many years. And that's why Jim McGovern and I introduced and passed the Promoting a Resolution to the Tibet-China Dispute Act, which clarifies U.S. policy that Tibet's right, they have a right to their own language, they have a right to their own religion, culture, and they have a right to self-determination. A few weeks ago, Congressman McGovern and I once again teed up to introduce a resolution commemorating July 6th as the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday as a day of compassion.
We are here for a special reason, the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now, I've been inspired by the Dalai Lama for a long time. As a human being, I've been inspired by his personal commitment to practicing patience and charity. As a person raised in the Catholic faith, I've been inspired by his role as a spiritual leader. And as a congressman, I've been inspired by his role as a national leader, guiding his people through dark times toward a brighter future. His Holiness inspires millions. his teachings on religious tolerance, nonviolence, and peace building, his advocacy for freedom and dignity of the Tibetan people, his global vision of compassion and human rights. His message is a universal one. And I think all of us in Congress who honor His Holiness the Dalai Lama need to recommit ourselves to making sure that monies that have been frozen that are designed to help the Tibetan people and to help preserve Tibetan culture get restored. These funds were put in place in a bipartisan way, and we need a bipartisan group to make sure that they get restored.
Hope, because anything is possible for hope. And so sometimes people say to me, where is hope anymore? And I think of His Holiness, and I think of his faith that is so strong, and his goodness that he sees in himself and in others. And I say hope is always where it's always been, sitting right there between faith in the goodness of others, faith, hope, and charity, faith, hope, and love. So when we listen to him, we're taken to another place. So the fact that God has blessed him with 90 years, and still having teachings in the rest is quite remarkable.
The House has just introduced a bipartisan resolution to celebrate His Holiness' birthday, July 6th, as a Day of Compassion. So here I would like to express our deepest appreciation to Chairman Malcolm McCall, Congressman James McGovern, Senator Jeff Markley, Senator Todd Young, and all the co-sponsors for leading and introducing this bipartisan resolution. And I believe His Holiness' 90th birthday matters not because it's about His Holiness, but it is about sharing with the rest of the world some of his key messages of oneness of humanity, compassion, interdependence, and universal responsibility, something I think everyone will agree this is entirely needed in today's world. And for the Tibetan people, despite over more than 6 decades of occupation, exile, and the ongoing onslaught on their very way of life, their determination and spirit remained ever stronger because of the compassionate and visionary leadership of His Holiness, who has shown us a path and a model of dignity and resilience. Under his leadership, the Tibetan people have not only survived, they have preserved their identity, their language, their religion, and most importantly, the moral clarity of their resistance. His Holiness has shown us that resistance is not only possible, but it can be peaceful and sustainable. The resistance was never against the Chinese people or the society, but it is against the actions and policy of a repressive regime. His Holiness has shown us how to resist not out of revenge, but out of responsibility to uphold the shared dignity of all people.
Because it's really important for you to know, in the House and in the Senate, support for Tibet is overwhelmingly bipartisan. That's because of the goodness of His Holiness. It's also because of the mobilization that you all bring to tell the story, and also the leadership of our colleagues. So thank you for happy birthday, Your Holiness. I see the cake is here.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to honor His Holiness today and proud to advocate for Tibetans in this Congress. And I can tell you, Mr. McGovern and I will continue to fight for Tibetans' right to self-determination until the Dalai Lama and his people can return to their homelands.
听见